Kirk Burroughs, the president at the time, a bad boy, told me that he smacked his mother. I remember we was in the car. It was me, Puff, and his mother got in the car with us. His mother got in the car. He was on the phone, and then he said to his mother, "Yo, didn't I tell you to stay out my MF business?" Yo, I want to snatch the and shadow off him. I said, "Boy, who you talking to?" I said, "Boy, if you ever talk to your mama like that again around me, I'm gonna beat the shit out you." But Gene, I told her to stay out of business. Let me just say this to you right now. If she wasn't for her, you wouldn't have no business. And Miss Combs sit there and quiet as a church mouse. And he ain't say nothing. He ain't say a word because he knew I was serious. I wasn't playing with him.
There's an expression that goes like this. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And what is this in reference to? Well, it's in reference to Janice Combs, Diddy's mother. According to Cassie Ventura, Janice Combs would keep a jar of Diddy's kids in the refrigerator, and when she would make mac and cheese, she would drizzle some on top of it and force them to eat it. That's what Cassie Ventura said, allegedly. Not only that, one of Diddy's childhood friends allegedly claims that Janice Combs would have freak-off parties of her own while Diddy watched, explaining his behavior. And now I'm going to show you a video which maybe makes me believe that it may be true. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, my mom's gorgeous. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom. You call Mom Dukes. Hi. She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
That's just not normal. And after seeing that, well, I'm thinking it may be accurate. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. There's the tree, and there's the apple.
Cassie reportedly claims that Diddy's mother likes to keep things in the family. She says, Janice told King and Justin that Grandma's all-you-can-eat buffet was always open to them. She'd ask, "Do you want a leg or a thigh?" when they entered her home. Cassie is reportedly preparing to hold Diddy's mother, Janice Combs, accountable for her alleged involvement in their relationship. She allegedly says, Janice would sit in a love seat and watch us, then yell at Sean when she thought he was being...
The entire courtroom froze when Diddy's mother quietly entered and walked toward the witness box. No one in the media had predicted she'd appear, let alone speak out. Her presence alone sent shockwaves through the gallery. She looked calm, collected, but something heavy sat behind her eyes. The woman who gave life to one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop was about to speak, and not in his defense. For years, she had remained behind the scenes, avoiding headlines and camera flashes. But now, her silence had broken. The atmosphere turned icy as everyone realized this wasn't just testimony, it was a turning point. People turned to each other whispering, "Why now?" She sat down slowly and prepared to shake the room.
He getting his money now on marketing. So by him getting his money on marketing himself.
There was a lot of control and, sorry.
She looked directly at the judge and said, "I'm not here out of anger. I'm here out of truth." That one sentence told the entire room she wasn't going to protect Diddy anymore. She explained that for years she kept secrets that weighed her down emotionally and spiritually. Her tone wasn't bitter, it was honest. As the silence deepened, she continued by saying that keeping quiet had been her greatest mistake. People were stunned by her bravery. It wasn't easy to turn on family, but she said silence only helped the wrong people. Cameras didn't flash, phones didn't buzz, it was too quiet to breathe. In that moment, it became clear. She had come prepared to reveal everything.
I remember you told me that, Diddy, he smacked his own mom. And to be honest with you, man, I really didn't believe it. But after seeing that video of him and Cassie and what he did to her, I believe it now, man.
Well, yeah, listen, bruh, Kirk Burroughs, the president at the time, a bad boy. told me that he smacked his mother. Kirk Burrows even said it on somebody's platform that he smacked his mother. It may have been your platform that he said that. I remember we was in the car. It was me, Puff, and his mother got in the car with us. And we was in the limousine. We was on, was it 20 West 19th Street or 5 West 19th Street? That was the first bad boy office when they came into Manhattan. Not the Scarsdale shit. I'm talking when they got the first official bad boy office in Manhattan. Yo, his mother got in the car. He was on the phone talking about somebody to something. And then he said to his mother, yo, didn't I tell you to stay out my MF business? Yo, I want to snatch the fucking shadow off him. I said, boy, who you talking to? I said, if you ever talk to your mother like that again, around me, I'm going to beat the shit out you. Now, people don't know and people don't understand. Not only was I one of the leaders of the same gang, I had been around Puff and I seen him. Like when them kids ran him down the block the whole 9 yards. Me and Puff had been dealing with each other from the red zone to the building when they had unsigned hype and all that. So y'all thinking that, oh, this is his bodyguard and everything like that. Y'all call them OGs. Y'all call them lieutenants and everything like that. I was one of the leaders of the same gang at the time. And I'm not going to let him, as a man and as a person that I am, disrespect his mama. I said, boy, if you ever talk to your mama like that again around me, I'm going to beat the shit out you. But Gee, I told her to stay out of business. Let me just say this to you right now. If she wasn't for her, you wouldn't have no business. And Miss Combs sit there and quiet as a church mouse. And he ain't say nothing. He ain't say a word. Because he knew I was serious. I wasn't playing with him. Now, I said this before on your channel. Any man that put his hands on his mother or disrespect his mother, an ice cube in hell wouldn't last. On the way he feel about a damn woman. He'll quick to put his hands on a woman like that. If he do it.
The woman who raised Diddy shared a side of him the world never knew. She said the public saw the performer, the businessman, the mogul, but she saw someone else entirely. Behind the scenes, he was distant, aggressive in mood, and often manipulative. Her words painted a picture of a man who controlled people emotionally, not physically, but the damage ran deep. She admitted that at times even she felt fear around him. Her voice didn't shake, but her words cut through the air like knives. This wasn't just a mother venting, this was a witness laying out history. Her quiet regret said more than shouting ever could. What she said next changed the entire courtroom's mood.
I believe Kirk Burrows when he said that. Kirk has no reason to lie on Diddy when in fact he lied for Diddy and went to jail for Diddy. But that's what happens when you love.
Her face softened when she began describing the women in Diddy's life. She didn't give names, but her words were powerful. She said she saw sadness in many of them, a kind of silent pain that lingered in the house. Some came and went without ever saying goodbye. Others left in tears, clearly carrying something they couldn't talk about. She admitted she felt guilty for not asking more questions. I didn't want to believe what I saw, she said. Her eyes watered as she described the way they seemed broken when they left. And suddenly, Diddy's past relationships weren't glamorous anymore. They were reminders of pain left unspoken. Court leaned in closer, listening harder now.
It was so crazy, man. You know, the way they explained it, that, He beat that woman till she was crawling up under a car, man. No matter how small she was crawling up under the car, man. You got to be real scared, man. That's crazy. I know it ain't funny, but it's crazy. He was beating her till she ran up under the car, man.
Wow, man. So it got that bad, man?
The way they was explaining to me, man. And I'm like, yo, the first thing I want to know, then what did somebody do? Yo, people was grabbing him, but he wouldn't stop. And if you know Puff wasn't no dude that he was no weak guy, nothing like that. You understand? I seen Puff slam to many of guys. I used to laugh. You know, guys used to come up there and they try to grab him or whatever like that. Puff used to wrestle and play football. So I seen him grab some street dudes that thought they was like that, and he put them on their back quick. No Diddy. Misa was a little thing, beautiful little woman, but Misa was like, cause I used to when I left Bad Boy, check this out, and people don't know this. When I left when I stopped working for Puff, I started working for Misa. Misa called me up, yo, Gene, I'm scared. I'm afraid. I be wanting to go to parties. I be out. And I know Puff or nobody gonna do anything if I got you with me. I used to bodyguard Misa. She didn't go out all the time. She was trying to get her business up. But when she wanted to go to places and be out and be seen, I was with her. You understand? Misa is like, she may be Asian descent, but she like one of those strict, like those down south mothers. Yo, she did not play. I used to bodyguard her. And that's because she was afraid to be out. Because she didn't want, if she was out with somebody or she was out doing her thing, she didn't want him to say or do anything to her or nobody else. It was for other.
Everyone leaned forward when she pulled a notebook from her purse, a personal journal. She said she had started writing in it years ago whenever something seemed strange. Her entries included late-night phone calls, mysterious visitors, emotional breakdowns, and troubling arguments. She never meant for anyone to read it, but now she said the truth had to be told. Lawyers requested to review it immediately. This wasn't just her word anymore, this was documentation. One of the entries mentioned a conversation she overheard that involved threats and silence. People in the room exchanged glances, realizing this could become evidence. And just like that, her journal became the most talked about thing in the courtroom.
So difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you got to do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
The apology.
Yeah.
You made a comment. You said Puff just gave an intro to a song for an apology.
Yeah. I feel like that was the intro to a song. I feel like 5 years you're gonna hear that on his on one of his comeback songs, trying to come back. That's an intro, man. I feel like that was just an intro, man.
Well, they're saying, because a lot of people criticize that he didn't say her name, but from what they're saying, the deal that he signed with her when he paid her,
Yeah.
payoffs go two ways. Like, okay, I'm going to give you this and you're not going to do this, but then I'm not going to do this. So they're saying that he's legally not allowed to say her name anymore. That's why her name wasn't mentioned.
I heard he didn't give up 30 million. I heard he gave up in the singles.
Yeah. Single millions. That's what I heard. I heard in the low single million digits.
Yeah.
Which, at the end of the day, is still a lot of money because in lawsuits like that, when you talk about physical abuse, it's tax-free. You don't pay taxes on it. So
I still think she should have got more than that. Did you see that video?
Yes.
Just thinking in 10 years or whatever they was, how many times did this happen? Like, man.
Dozens, probably.
And you got $1 billion? You got $1 billion. So, I mean, I think she got beat. I think it was a quick grab for some money and she took it too fast.
Well, remember,
he gave it too fast and she took it too fast.
Well, remember, he had put up the statement. He said, enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I've silently sat and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things that are being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Sean Diddy Combs. That did not age well.
Yeah, the feds was watching. Okay.
Okay. Well, they're saying
watch this video.
That they're saying that the feds may have leaked this as a precursor to filing charges.
Feds got like, okay, you never did none of this?
That might have been one of the videos they got from the house raids.
Okay.
In a revealing interview with Piers Morgan, Combs' former head of security, Roger Bonds, shared his insights. When asked about the reaction to Diddy's apology video, Bonds offered his perspective.
My reaction was, he's up to the same games. You know, my reaction was, he never mentioned Cassie's name in that apology. You know, so to me, he didn't humble himself enough. I think he said what people wanted to hear, not what he felt. That was just my opinion about it.
Paused for a long time before saying, maybe I should have spoken up long ago. That sentence hit harder than any accusation. Her eyes welled up, and for a moment she looked much older, like the weight of those memories had aged her. She talked about the guilt she carried for staying quiet while others may have suffered. I chose family over right and wrong, she said softly. The room felt her pain. Even Diddy, who had kept his head down, looked up for a moment. There was no yelling, no courtroom drama, just a mother admitting she'd made mistakes. And in that moment, the case felt less like headlines and more like real life.
You know, he may have used the word, I apologize. For what? He never admitted that he say the video. So if you didn't see the video, you don't know what he's apologizing to. And I know it was shown to a lot of people. A lot of people cared not to look at it because they heard what it was about. You see, Common came on TMZ and he said, yo, listen to me. When I knew it was about, I wasn't going to even look at it. I don't want that kind of spirit. I don't want that kind of energy. So a lot of people who know what it's about or heard what it's about didn't even look at it. He said, yo, he should have been asked, apologize for striking Cassie in her head. I've apologized for throwing her to the ground and dragging her and treating her the way that I did. He should have been apologizing like that to her. And then apologize to the people. But it didn't happen, bruh. It didn't happen. That was some lame. He only made it because he got caught. You got to realize a month before that, he put out this statement. It wasn't even a month. He put out the statement. Everybody going to see. The truth is going to come out. These ain't nothing but lies on me. Come on, man. I don't want to seem like, you know, I'm bashing the dude, man, but you got to do better than that, bruh. You got to do better than that, man. And that's for real.
Yeah. I mean, you got a lot of people that feel like, you know, if he was really sincere, you know, he would have apologized once, you know, Cassie came out with the lawsuit, you know?
Well, I can understand. You got to realize he's getting his money now on marketing. So by him getting his money on marketing himself, if he could not apologize, if he could get away with it, he's going to do that. Because he knows that's going to hurt him. You understand what I'm saying? He knows that's going to hurt him. So I can understand that from a business point of it. There's no way he can apologize or say some stuff. Or then again, maybe if he did apologize, yo, Cassie, I'm sorry, you correct. I treated you like this, that, and that stuff probably would never came out. Gave her a little 30 million. If he'd have gave her the 10 million, I don't know who's advising him. When she wanted the 10 million, if he'd have gave her 10 million and said, I'm sorry, I apologize, that stuff probably would have never came out. But he didn't do that. He waited until they put it out. And like I said before, now he got to pay the piper.
She confided in me about this incident when I was working with her around this time, around 2016. We were working on her sophomore album, and she told me about this situation. Their relationship was volatile for sure. And he, like, you could tell that she was afraid of him, you know, and that there was a lot of
Diddy, whether he came to the set to make sure everything was copacetic with you.
No, he actually really trusted the situation. Him and Terrence spoke beforehand because Terrence.
Wait. You date P. Diddy?
Oh, wow.
I did not know this. Yeah. Hold the phone.
Greg. You know, I typically don't talk about my private life.
Well,
but
forgive me. They put it on the television.
They put it on the television.
Yeah.
Terrence was a bit nervous, and I told Puff about it, and he said, have him give me a call. So we FaceTimed, and they had their man talk, and he said, make it believable. You guys, this is like going to be a great movie for you, and he's proud of us at the end of the day.
Oh,
it's work.
The actor talked to Puff.
Yes.
So I didn't know you call him Puff.
Yeah, Puff, Sean.
Yeah. Cassie comes from our area, Connecticut.
Yes, I'm from
Do you still have family there?
I do, in New London, Connecticut.
Oh, that's nice. You getting a chance to see them while you're here?
Yeah, they came. We had a screening last night, and they came to it. It was really nice to be with them.
That's nice. All right, you can catch Cassie, The Perfect Match, tomorrow in theaters everywhere.
Yes.
So nice to meet you in
person.
person.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you so much.
Say hello to Puff for us.
Yeah.
I will.
Text him and say we said hi. Can we FaceTime him? What the heck?
Let's do it later, yes.
Yeah, all right, cool.
He's in California.
I always wanted to hang.
Hey, Puff. I'm like, yo, I'm in Miami. I'm on the yacht. I'm about to come past y'all. Nigga said, pull up, nigga. Me and Cassie, we just laying around. We ain't doing nothing. We chilling. I said, I'm going to pull up. Nigga, I pulled up, docked to that nigga house, got off, went in there, fucked with the nigga, got on the jet skis, went and kicked it for about 2 hours. When it was time to leave, he's like, nigga, what y'all doing tonight? Bring your wife, let's go out. I like, bet. So me and Puff talking, we kicking it. I'll never forget this. I pulled back up. Puff like, get in a Jeep with me, nigga. He like, nigga, you need to get you some of these Jeeps right here. And nigga, get you a Jeep like this when you come to Miami, nigga, we can mob like this. I'm like, yeah, this the move. So we riding to the club, bumping Biggie. I'm like, nigga, this high is, I'm like, I ain't never really get the opportunity to just be with Puff. Like nigga, me and you, he never overshadowed me, but we never got a chance to just be together. It was here and there, moments in time. But like how that moment was, I was like, he's like, shit feel right, nigga. We need to be like Mob. And I'm like, yeah, nigga. So I never forget, we pull up to fucking Live, nigga. When we get to Live, nigga, Young Bird, well, Hitmaker. I think it was like
AKA Hitmaker.
Hitmaker. I think it was like Hit Boy or something. We go in the club, we kicking it, shit. I'm like, damn, this what's up. The nigga Puff is on the goddamn, he on the shit, the bar where everybody perform at in front of the DJ and shit. And he going crazy. This bitch lit. You remember Scarface when that white woman was coming down the escalator? Yeah. He was in that man's house and he saw that man's wife and was like this. I was watching Puff. The nigga Puff was looking up there. He saw this white woman. It was bottles on bottles on bottles around. It was lit. Puff jumped out. Me and Cassie sitting next to each other. My wife right here, Cassie right here. The nigga jumped off the bar, came over and said, yo, Cassie, tomorrow, I want you to shave the side of your head. And I was like, what the fuck kind of request is that? Like, so when I'm like, what the fuck? So when I look up there, this white woman side of her head was shaved, my nigga. And the bitch looked good with it. So I was looking at Cassie. I was like, you're not about to do that, are you? She said, well, I mean, whatever Sean wants, I'm gonna do.
Before she spoke, the case was mostly legal arguments and paperwork. But her words changed the entire energy. Suddenly, it wasn't just about Diddy's business or past. It was about a pattern of silence within families and fame. Even the judge looked visibly moved. Journalists who had covered trials for decades said they had never seen a moment quite like this. Her voice reminded everyone that behind every powerful figure is a real life, a family, a history, and often a lot of pain. The attorneys, once focused on timelines and statements, now had to deal with emotion, humanity, and the court of public opinion. And her testimony wasn't over yet.
They continue with this, what we do. I know the late extremely time.
You heard about how Diddy mom came out defending him? She made a comment saying that Diddy is not a monster.
Yeah, he not a monster. She is. But I don't want to go there. But she is. She's the fucking monster. Everything in her fucking name. She's the monster. She created that, and y'all gonna see on that Netflix. Y'all just check it out.
First of all, that's his mother. Wrong, right, or indifferent, she gonna lie, steal, kill, and protect her child. That's what she's supposed to do. But the apple don't fall far from the tree, man. You gotta realize that. You know, he didn't get all this from his daddy, because he didn't know his daddy, even though they try to say his daddy was some big time drug dealer in the whole 9 yards. You understand? He didn't get this from his daddy. You gotta realize, man, you know, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also ladies of the night.
Within minutes of her testimony, headlines began to flood Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Diddy's mom testifies against him became the top trending topic. Fans were divided. Some were heartbroken. Others were angry. But all were shocked. No one had ever imagined his own mother would go public, and certainly not in court. Video clips of her statement started going viral instantly. Comment sections filled with questions. What pushed her to this point and why now? Everyone wanted answers. But one thing was clear, she had just shaken the case beyond repair. And in doing so, she might have changed Diddy's legacy forever. As she continued, Diddy's lawyers exchanged worried glances. She wasn't on their list. She wasn't expected to speak. And now she was dropping one emotional truth after another. They tried to interrupt once, but the judge allowed her to continue. Courtroom wasn't just watching a witness, they were witnessing history. This wasn't some former associate trying to save themselves, this was a mother. Her words carried a kind of weight that legal documents never could. Diddy's lawyers fumbled through their notes, clearly shaken. Whatever defense they had prepared no longer seemed strong enough to hold the room. At the end of her statement, she turned and looked directly at Diddy. "You know why I'm doing this," she said quietly. The room went silent. Even reporters stopped typing. She then turned to the judge and added, "I hope my truth helps others find theirs." There was no applause. No sound at all. Just the heavy feeling that something big had just happened. She stood up, her head held high, and calmly walked out of the courtroom. People were still too stunned to react. What she left behind wasn't just testimony. It was a bombshell that would echo long after the trial ends.
I remember you told me that, Diddy, he smacked his own mom. And to be honest with you, man, I really didn't believe it. But after seeing that video of him and Cassie and what he did to her, I believe it now, man.
Well, yeah, listen, bruh, Kirk Burrows, the president at the time, a bad boy, told me that he smacked his mother. Kirk Burrows even said it on somebody's platform that he smacked his mother. It may have been your platform that he said that. I remember we was in the car. It was me, Puff, and his mother got in the car with us. And we was in the limousine. We was on Was it 20 West 19th Street or 5 West 19th Street? That was the first bad boy office when they came into Manhattan, not the Scarsdale. I'm talking when they got the first official bad boy office in Manhattan. Yo, his mother got in the car. He was on the phone talking about somebody to something. And then he said to his mother, yo, didn't I tell you to stay out my MF business? Yo, I want to snatch the fucking shadow off him. I said, boy, who you talking to? I said, if you ever talk to your mother like that again, around me, I'm going to beat the shit out you. Now, people don't know and people don't understand. Not only was I one of the leaders of the same gang, I had been around Puff and I seen him. Like when the kids ran him down the block the whole 9 yards. Me and Puff had been dealing with each other from the red zone to the building when they had unsigned hype and all that. So y'all thinking that, oh, this is his bodyguard and everything like that. Y'all call them OGs. Y'all call them lieutenants and everything like that. I was one of the leaders of the same gang at the time. And I'm not going to let him, as a man and as a person that I am, disrespect his mama. I said, boy, if you ever talk to your mama like that again around me, I'm going to beat the shit out you. But G, I told her to stay out of business. Let me just say this to you right now. If she wasn't for her, you wouldn't have no business. And Miss Combs sit there and quiet as a church mouse. And he ain't say nothing. He ain't say a word. Because he knew I was serious. I wasn't playing with him. Now, I said this before on your channel. Any man that put his hands on his mother or disrespect his mother, an ice cube in hell wouldn't last. On the way he feel about a damn woman. He'll quick to put his hands on a woman like that. If he do it.
With her powerful testimony and the introduction of her journal, the entire trial has shifted into high alert. Legal analysts are calling it a potential game changer. Some say her statements could lead to new witnesses stepping forward. Others believe it may push Diddy to settle or shift his legal team's strategy entirely. But beyond the legal side, there's a much bigger story now. This isn't just about celebrity drama. It's about accountability, family, and the power of truth. And the world isn't looking away anymore. Because when a mother says enough, even the most powerful man can't ignore it. The room went still the second she entered. No loud footsteps, no camera flashes, just the soft echo of a mother's quiet strength making its way toward the witness stand. Diddy's mother wasn't there to protect him with rehearsed lines or vague excuses. She was there because silence had cost too much. As she sat down, her hands trembled just slightly, but her voice was clear, like a storm about to hit. She looked around the courtroom, then at her son, once her little boy, now a man at the center of something too dark to ignore. I loved him more than anything, she began, but loving someone doesn't mean you ignore the truth. The weight of that sentence hit harder than any lawyer's argument. She started sharing memories, not gossip, not rumors, but real moments. Moments when she noticed the change in him, when his world became less about family and more about power, control, and fear. She spoke about the girls who visited their home, some with bright eyes that left with none. She mentioned voices behind doors, conversations that turned into shouting, and the nights she stayed up wondering who her son had become. Her regret was deep, deeper than anything a courtroom could judge. Maybe if I had spoken sooner, things would be different, she said, fighting back tears. But she wasn't there to dwell in guilt. She was there to finally free herself from it. Her testimony wasn't loud. It was quiet. But in that silence, every person in the room heard a truth that couldn't be ignored. This wasn't just about one man's secrets. It was about the people those secrets hurt. Her final words left the room frozen. I still love my son. But the truth deserves love too. And with that, she stepped down, leaving behind a courtroom no one would ever forget. She said she had started writing in it years ago whenever something seemed strange. Her entries included late-night phone calls, mysterious visitors, emotional breakdowns, and troubling arguments. She never meant for anyone to read it, but now she said the truth had to be told. Lawyers requested to review it immediately. This wasn't just her word anymore, this was documentation. One of the entries mentioned a conversation she overheard that involved threats and silence. People in the room exchanged glances, realizing this could become evidence. And just like that, her journal became the most talked about thing in the courtroom.